Hi, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. I never know who's going to walk into the studio, and today is no exception to the rule. We have in studio comedian sensation himself, Stratton Smith. Welcome to the show, big guy.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
Let's get right down to it. You got you a drink, I got me a drink. You've been through a lot. Tell the viewers a little bit about you before we get all in depth into your life. I read your bio. I followed your career. I mean, truly, I seen you take pain and turn it into an art form. Tell the viewers a little bit about you.
Yeah, so then I'm pretty easy. Stratton Smith, grew up on the east side of Indianapolis, so I am a local guy here. But yeah, talking more about bringing the pain to light. I have been rewarded by the universe over and over again. When you show vulnerability, it gives back a lot of acceptance instead of that shame and that guilt that I think we have preconceived notions about. So then now I've got a special coming out called Child of Divorce, which is the biggest trauma of my life.
When I saw that, I was like, wow, we definitely got to get into that. But you got another one too that you produced too. What was that called?
Yeah, so my first comedy special I did was The Adventures of Cuckleberry Finn.
Save that. Don't tell us yet on that one.
No, I got you.
So you grew up on the east side, and for those that don't know, the east side is like back in the day. You had your good, your bad, and your ugly. You're a Warren Central East Sider, right?
Yeah, I grew up in the Warren Central school system, and then parents split up, and then I ended up moving to Hancock County. But then
Where in the heck is Hancock County?
So Hancock County it's crazy. It is just on the other side of the east side. I graduated from the school called New Palestine High School.
Okay.
And so New Palestine, it is 95% white, whereas the east side is pretty 50-50 even cut.
Right.
So then I get from my east side and go over to New Palestine.
Now, you got a culture shock.
Where did all my black friends go? Literally, that's what it was like.
Yeah. What was it like growing up in your household? And what was the reason that you had to go from there to the Palestine area?
Yeah, I had a really normal childhood. I was raised by two firefighters, Indianapolis Fire Department people, and then when I was 12 years old, they split up over my mom cheated on my dad, and they were married 25 years, and it was a really, really big culture shock for everybody.
When did you find out that there was infidelity? They just didn't come out at 12 years old.
No, they did it really well. So
really,
when I was 12, they said, hey, I'm not in love with your dad anymore. That's all I got. And then every year from then on, you learn a little bit more. I probably didn't learn until I was probably 17.
Who did you learn a little bit more from? Was it your siblings or was it your mom and your dad? Because you said they did a great job in basically telling you.
Yeah, it was my mom and my dad, a combination here and there. But my mom is still with the person that she cheated on my dad with. So
really? Oh, you got a relationship with him?
There's a relationship for sure, yeah.
Wow. Okay,
yeah, I mean, I have known this guy since I was 12 years old. But the story was my parents were married 25 years. This guy was an old high school sweetheart from 30 years prior to that. And he ended up coming back into the situation. And now he is married to my mom, and he's stepdad.
At 12 years old, I know you don't know a lot that goes on in the house because you're playing, you got your set of friends. But did you notice anything? Did your brothers and sisters notice anything? Any conflict in your household? Between your mom and your dad?
Not even a little bit.
Really?
And I know that is crazy to hear. I did not grow up in a loud household with a lot of chaos. I can't come from two feelers, two very kind of quiet. I didn't get yelled at a lot growing up. So then when this
ended, you told a lot of jokes.
Bro, I have got youngest child syndrome out the ass.
Really?
I am. So on my grandmother's side, I am the youngest of 8 grandchildren by 12 years.
Okay.
So it's that younger child syndrome. I'm not the smartest. I am not the strongest.
You know how to fit in.
I gotta tell jokes, bro. I gotta tell dick jokes. That's what I'm doing.
So when they start breaking it to you, how did you start accepting what was going on? You see that they're out of the house, but how do you still navigate? Because I'm pretty sure you're close with both your mom and dad, and then you still got this new guy. Was there resentment with your dad and the new guy?
Yeah. I mean, paraphrase. Yeah. There was, and there still is hostility in
Really?
that because I have a sister that's 12 years older than me. So then when they split up, my sister was 25. She had already lived a life. She had seen my parents married for 25 years.
Right.
And then this new guy comes in. She's still taking it hard to this day, and I'm still taking it hard to this day.
Really? What? That's kind of interesting. You still taking it hard to this day, but you're older. What makes it hard for you to take?
I think it was the timing of it happening. So this happened when I was 12 through like 16. So these are the years that you're really learning about relationships
Right.
and how they work. And, and we live in a very traditional monogamous,
Right.
it's like, but then so how could you do this to your partner?
Right.
And I'm learning this. This is my only model I have for like relationships in my life.
Right.
So then today I still struggle with like the concept of monogamy and abandonment issues and knowing that somebody's going to stay, it could be taken away just like that.
That's funny that, you have openly admitted to that. And a lot of us in a male dominant society, we internalize that so much. I appreciate you coming on here, even sharing that.
I'm going to cheers to that. Thank you.
Part of your life. So knowing that still bothers you today, take me into, how does that affect you going into your own relationships? You said you dealt with, the fear of abandonment, the fear of trust, and how does that go into your relationships? You're 18 years old. This happens at 12. You're going up. Take me a little bit of that, how that affects you going up.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a while, especially like during like my college days, I was like a serial monogamous, like just going like from like relationship to the relationship, following this pattern that I think a lot of us, like men and women alike, it's like you get married, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, and then you die with that person. Mm-hmm. And then you learn that that is not the only way that a happy, successful relationship can be.
Right.
So then, like for me, like with monogamy, like I'm like ethically non-monogamous. So then,
what the heck does that mean?
Oh, I get that all the time. So then monogamy is like, hey, I just have one partner, one person, and I do not. Like you don't look at anybody else. Right. Whereas like a very like loving and endearing way to me is my connection with one person isn't affected by another. Okay. I look at it as like a bird in a cage. So you can be a bird in a cage with a locked door, live your life, and that's cool. But then what if you were like in a cage with somebody, but the door is open, and then you're a bird, you can fly this way. You're a bird, you can fly the other way. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you can come back to the cage just because you like being birds with each other. Okay. That's kind of like my euphemism of it all.
Does it play out?
It plays out.
For you, does it play out?
Yeah, I've got a very loving partner, and she sees her people, I see my people, but there is a foundation of like love that we've like really gotten.
Wow.
Yeah, and the look on your face is usually what it gets because we have like this very like traditional like monogamous society.
How did you introduce this to your partner?
So then she had already had a background with it as well with a partner previously. I have had like.
You mean she had her own trauma?
Yeah, she's got her own trauma, and I never like to speak on anybody else's trauma, but then just maybe like having a household that wasn't exactly the best like role model on what I would want going forward or what she would want going forward. But yeah, she's got her own story and everything like that. But then, I'm about to say, and here's the thing, I'm 29, I am figuring it all out.
Right, you're still young, you're still figuring it out.
Yeah, that's what I always like to emphasize is like, I'm still figuring this out, I just got here.
You had, when we was off camera, you were sharing with me even more in depth about a relationship that really touched me, and I can sense by the conversation that it touched you. Tell your story about the young lady that was in the car accident. Was that your first love?
That was the first time I said I love you to somebody and I meant it. And then when you're 18, you're kind of like developing your own like definition of love. I met this girl when I was 18 years old. It was like a summer love thing. She went to Warren Central, like where I grew up, and I went to New Pal, but we met for a summer, and it was like...
What attracted you to her? You met that summer love. What was it that made you go, woo?
My woo was that she was goofy, and that was my favorite thing in the world. Because usually you see me, I'm like 6'2", I'm lanky.
Yeah,
I am the goofy looking person. But then she had a gorgeous smile, gorgeous personality. She was amazing. Her name is Jess. She was great. But then what happened was when I went to college, she was going to help move me in. And so the morning of, she was on her way to my house. She ended up getting into a pretty serious car accident. And then fast forward a few months, she was in a coma. And when she got out of it, she was kind of starting back from step one, learning how to do a little bit of everything. And that was the first time I really like felt trauma, that kind of felt that numbness. And yeah, it was
She later passed too, right?
She later passed in I believe it was 2020 with COVID complications, and that was the hardest.
Did she ever remember you?
It's not. It's hard to say because the communication was not super clear. I can't say what one way or another. I'd like to think that she did, but yeah, it's hard to say.
18 years old, you're coming out of seeing your mom and dad, adjusting to a new family that you're still, whole family still dealing with, but even more important is carrying the weight from now on for a quick summer love that you probably would have thought would have been your soulmate. How do you maneuver? 18 years old, I can't even imagine how long you have to carry that burden.
Man, I got rocked when that happened because it was like this new part in my life. This was like the first day of college. Like everything was supposed to be simple. And then it's hard to say if like, hey, this is my soulmate. We were just 18 and then we were just figuring it out. It was like a really great relationship. But it really like in retrospect gave me like the value of like life and how anything can be taken away tomorrow. And it definitely like was like trauma, and then eventually it like turns into a story. But man, I'm really thankful that I met her and I went through that, but it took me a while to get there.
How much of this resonated into you saying you've been in college? What was you going to major in?
So I went in as a marketing major. Yeah.
When did the transition happen? Because you still got pain. You're 18 years old. Let's get real. Wasn't nobody going to therapy back then.
No, man, no.
Wasn't going to therapy. That wasn't even on the table. And at 18 to 25, you're in the college life. When did that transition take place to say, you know what, I'm gonna get that marketing or whatever degree, but something is driving me to comedy? Because you guys met under all your situations in your life. You dealt with that enjoyment of laughter, that happy place. When did the transition happen for you?
I think it was, well, I've always been a comedy fan. That has been like...
Who's your favorite comedian? Please say Jerry Seinfeld.
No, love Seinfeld. So I grew up with two parents that were older. They had me in their 40s. So I grew up with like Richard Pryor, George Carlin, like the Eddie Murphys, that old school.
Andrew Dice Clay, maybe?
Yes. Oh my gosh. My dad talks about Andrew Dice Clay at least once a week. So then my favorite comedian, it depends on the day. It depends on the day. I love Dave Chappelle. Anthony Jeselnik is a really good writer because I really like My Darkness. Love Bo Burnham for performance actives of. I like a little bit of everybody, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you're a comedian and you're doing it, odds are I'm going to be like a fan of at least a little bit of you.
How do you take those individuals? Those are some great names. How do you take those and put them into crafting your skill? What part of each one of those individuals do you bring into your comedy, and why?
Yeah. Oh, I think with like writers like Jeselnik and Bo Burnham and like John Mulaney, who just had a really great vulnerable stand-up special coming around. I think the biggest thing I like about them is writing. So then I started as a marketing major, but I ended up becoming an English major. Okay. Which is like, my dad is not proud of me, and that's okay. But no,
why isn't he?
No, I'm just
because
joking.
He wants you to be something else.
Yeah, no. My parents, both my parents were firefighters. Yeah. They were like, just go do anything. The fire department will always be waiting here for you. But yeah, so I have a real big heart on writers. So then people that can have like a really good delivery, a really good structure, and it's almost like mathematical in a sense, which is funny because I'm an English major. I don't do numbers. But then there's like I don't know, anyone that can make you zone out for an hour and a half and forget about your bullshit. Right. That is why I fell in love with movies, comedy, anything. Because for an hour and a half, I don't have to think about the shit that's going on in my life. I get to just be entertained. So I think it's that trance effect that people have.
How much of your life do you bring into your comedy, and why?
I'd probably say a pretty healthy, like 90%. What I've found is the greatest things in the world that are funny are true. So there's a lot of... What
they call it, a conspiracy theory. I told somebody today, I said, conspiracy theories usually have A little bit of truth, and if not 90% truth.
Just a layer, And I love getting into conspiracy theories. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I think so. For example, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
I wanted to talk about that. Yeah.
So then that is a shout out to like my English major a little bit, because there's the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Mark Twain's novel. But in this special, I tell a very vulnerable, about 8-minute story about a cuck situation that I got into in my early 20s. Are you familiar with cucks?
Please share.
Yes. Okay. Oh, I love that. I get to break the news to you. So a cuck it's short for cuckold, which is a person that watches their partner with another person.
And what's it called again?
A cuckold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
So then there was a story that I had where I met this couple and this woman online on Tinder, which is the darkest place in the world. But I met them in my early 20s, and they said, hey, I'm really into having my husband watch, or my husband's really into me watching me with another man. Would you be interested? I'm like 21 years old at this time. I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody wants to like touch it. I'm in. And then so in the special, I kind of talk about the story and how the nerves behind it and the craziness of it. But more than anything, I think it's educating people on what the cuck lifestyle is like.
How much is this story is actually true?
I'd say about 90%. So it's a real thing that actually happened. The concrete details and pillars, those are what happens, and then you just kind of play with like the dialogue.
How did that make you view people at that point? Like you walk in there and this scene is about to play out.
Yeah. Like
you go through with it, but once this scene is over, did you look at life any differently?
Yeah, man. Well, then kind of what happens when I got there, the girlfriend wasn't there. So the boyfriend opened the door and he says, hey, this is actually a surprise. She doesn't know that you're going to be here. I talked with her before, but then apparently he didn't tell her that I was coming over. I was going to surprise him. We waited 3 hours before she came over, and in that 3 hours, I thought this guy was going to murder me. I didn't think that the girlfriend was real. I didn't think that. I thought he faked everything, and we are just literally playing video games and smoking weed for 3 hours. That is what we're doing. And then at some point it hits me. I'm like, this guy's about to murder me, and I didn't tell anybody.
You're playing Jason Bourne now?
Yes, 100%. Oh my God, it's Jason Bourne. But then she gets in there, and it is the most normal thing in the world.
So this wasn't new to her.
I don't think this was their first time. And then I was just like, okay, well, this is all right. But what was normal was it was going down, and it's not like this guy's watching intently or anything. This guy was just playing video games, eating Doritos, and every now and then he'd look over and go, huh. Most normal thing in the world.
And it was normal. What was her reaction? She was just enjoying it.
She was having a good old time, if I may say so myself. But this was like a Tuesday evening. Like, this is middle of the week.
Wow. You had to look at people. Did they ever call you back?
I went back one more time. One more time. Because he didn't murder me, so I was like, all right, it was fine.
That is crazy. So you also do another play. What's that about?
Oh, yeah. So I've got a special that's coming out on Thanksgiving. It is called Child of Divorce.
I know that's got to be the true story.
That is a true story.
Of you and what you're sharing today. Why do this particular skit?
Well, I kind of get into it in the special, but this is actually a big love letter to my parents. So then you see Child of Divorce. I think a lot of people assume like, oh, he's about to like roast his parents. How dare you do this? Woe is me kind of thing. I have never accepted like the victim like lifestyle once in my life. But I think the purpose that I wanted to have with this special is I want people to talk about it more. Especially you kind of like briefed on it a little bit. Like men, we do not open up. We're not vulnerable as much as I think we should be in this society. But I was making this one for the children of divorce. So then, in our society, 50% of marriages, end in divorce. That means like 40% like have kids kind of thing. And I don't think anybody's talking about it. But there's just a lot of loneliness and kind of embarrassment, I think, when your parents like split up.
Have you shared this with your parents that you're getting ready to
Oh, they were in the audience, my guy.
Really? What was their reaction?
My dad loved it. He's a big comedy fan like me. He is big supportive. He's a huge support in my life. I have nothing but good things to say about him. But he was very cool with it. But then you could kind of see like he was a little bit like twitchy on his arm a little bit, and so I didn't know if he knew what I was going to say. Mom had a little bit more trouble with it because she's not necessarily like the good guy in the story, but I have a very close relationship with my mom, and I've explained to her this is just a story now. If this can be a send-off to my trauma, tip of the cap, maybe it will be, maybe it won't, but there's a lot of love in this special for my parents.
What were some of the things in the performance that resonated with them? Like maybe one or two things that you released and you can see in their expressions that you delivered your message.
I think one of the biggest messages that I relayed to him was kind of like, I'm not the woe is me, I don't need this. This was like a love letter to my parents. Even though it didn't work out with them, even though they have their own beef, during the process, I never felt unloved once.
By either side.
By either side. They both like fought for me. My dad like went to bat for me from the very beginning. My mom, she's figuring life out. She's got this new guy. She can't deny like these feelings or anything, but she's got a family with like a loving husband that she had to address. I can't imagine how hard that must have been for her, like wanting to live her truth and like let her heart just kind of like blossom. But like I'm, tied to this family, and I'm gonna break some hearts, and she broke some hearts.
And you've also broke some traditions. You're the first blood. Explain that.
Yeah. Well, it's not a Crips, but I do look good. I do look good in blue. Don't get me wrong. But in my college, on my blood side and my dad's side, no male had graduated college before. Nobody had ever gotten like a 4-year degree or anything like that. So when I did it, I was like, I'm gonna be an English major, and they're like, all right, whatever. Set the bar low for us all.
How does that make you feel, being the first?
When I was
it's always that special thing.
Yeah.
You're the first. You had the first on the cuckold.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad I get the.
So now you're the first to get that degree. What's that like now?
It's not as like crazy big. Like I walk around with like a lot on my shoulders or anything like that. I got set up really well by two parents that sacrificed a lot. When my parents were together, they were two hippies in the late 60s, early 70s. They didn't have much to their name. To be able to like send like a kid to college was, I think insane. Neither of them ever got degrees, but they still are like very hardworking. Like they were firefighters for a living, which is like the coolest thing to say that your parents are ever. Yeah. If I had two cop parents, it would be a very different story. Yeah.
Very different.
A very different story. I mean, one thing my grandma always said to me was they can never take your education away from you. So no matter what, like I'll always like have a degree or something like to hold to my name. In terms of like comparing myself to like the rest of the people like in my family, not so much, because there's still like honorable people, and like we still like need jobs that don't require like college degrees or anything. So it's not that special, but then at the same time it's like, hey, pat on the back for Stratton. He's got student debt. Congratulations.
Right. Just sitting here talking to you and meeting you for the first time, man, it's amazing. You still walk around with that smile on your face. You clearly took trauma and turned into a smile. You're keeping that beast frame of mind. You're positive. What was one of the most important things you learned so far out of this journey?
Man, can I take a drink for that one? That's a fantastic question, man.
I think it's that bourbon.
It's a good. This is fantastic, by the way. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned, we talked about like using your vulnerabilities. I kind of like as a weapon. I use it as a weapon. So then humor has been like a coping mechanism for me since I could remember. I've got that youngest child syndrome.
Right.
I think if you're able to laugh at something, that is a part of the grieving process. When you can start to make jokes about something that's personal to you and not like, I don't know, if you can joke like at yourself about something, I feel like you can get through just about anything.
Do you look in the mirror and really say, I'm gonna make a joke out of this when something hits you?
I don't have to wait for a mirror. I think I hear it and I'm just like,
you already got it processed?
I think that's my response. Okay. I think a lot of times one of my superpowers I tell people I have is making people laugh at funerals.
We're gonna ask him how to get in contact with you.
Yeah. I mean, if you hit me with your obituaries, I will show up. I will $50 a pop. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I think with laughing about like trauma, I think that is for me and like my personality, that is like the first step to like the grieving process. And a lot of times I'll make a joke immediately just to get that. But at the same time, I'm a clown. So then the clown is a very I don't know, honorable role in society.
Speaking of clowns, I'm gonna ask you this.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies, and I've watched this at least 6 times because I like to really dig to the dark side of a movie. You know what I mean? I love The Joker.
Yeah, the new one.
With Joaquin Phoenix.
It is. Oh my god!
It took a while for me to keep watching it, but here's a guy. You guys almost have like the same story, so to speak, but not with the ending that happened.
I'm not shooting Robert De Niro. It's not happening, Andre.
Yeah, and what's your take on that? Since you mentioned the word clown, because he's an entertainer in a world of chaos and drama, but he's an entertainer trying to find himself. And the cool part about that movie, if you really dig deep into it, it was at the end when he says, "You pass me every day, and you never pay me no attention." But it took a senseless act for somebody with money to come out and recognize, but nobody paid that guy no attention, who's simply trying to bring smiles to people's face.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Well, that movie is real special because I moved to Michigan for a girl, and I think it was like a week or two after the breakup, I went and did my therapy session, which therapy for me is going to a movie theater by myself, getting a big soda, big popcorn. The movie I saw was The Joker.
Really? Oh my God!
So
the universe is about, yeah.
So that was the first time I was able to zone out, trance out, and look at something. And I am a clown. So then I'll have to show you a tattoo, but I have a tattoo of a clown on my arm. My dad used to be a clown back in the day.
Get out of here!
He went to clown school, the whole shebang. He specialized in juggling. Really? So this is a family affair. We're a family of clowns. But the clown is I think a role that isn't talked about much in our society. If you go back to Victorian times, the clown was the person that was inside the castle with the
jester.
King. The jester, he was hanging out with the kings, everything, learning everything. They listening to all the conversations, entertaining, and then jester, they still go back to the people and they'll relay to the people what's going on in the castle
in a humorous way.
In a humorous way, get all their attention. A comedian, a clown, whatever you want to call it.
I like to call you guys entertainers.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
I relate with entertainers because I don't like to choose one route or anything like that. But in my career, my job is a server at Dick's Last Resort.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you heard of that place?
No, but please tell me.
Oh my gosh. So
this is the second time you used the word dick or cock.
Yeah. Wait for my special, man. Dick's Last Resort is an entertainment restaurant. It's a restaurant chain, but they give a rude, sassy service to their patrons.
What do you mean?
So then, you go to eat at Dick's Last Resort. I'm gonna be a little bit of a dick to you, for an example. We're all dicks, and
I got you.
Yeah, so we're gonna be rude. We're gonna be like, here's your menu. Here's this. Take this. You can be really mean. You could be rude. You can be sassy, sarcastic. Me, I'm a goof dick. So then you'll just see me kind of twerking at work all day long.
Where's this place at?
Downtown Indianapolis. Oh man, you gotta come to the restaurant.
I don't know if I can make it. I think somebody give me rude service, man, I go off.
Hey, yeah, but then that's because you wouldn't expect it anywhere else. You go to Olive Garden, and somebody get
oh my God, yeah.
It's like, no, you gave me my salad and my breadsticks.
I just had bad service yesterday at a Chinese restaurant. Won't mention their name. Asked for a simple fried rice with eggs, peas, nothing else. Get home, open it up, everything's in there. Onions.
Yep.
This, that, and other, and they go, well, you can bring it back. Okay, I'm already home in the bed. You know what I mean? I like customer service. I might go try that place out to see what kind of rude service I'm going to get.
Dude, request me. I will take care. Dude, I will take care of you. But what's funny in my, because I have 2 jobs. My other job, I'm a customer service trainer.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm a customer service trainer for Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
So you know how to tell them you need to be rude to this person, good to that person.
Yeah, because I'm like my day job, I'm like very nice. It's like, oh yeah, let's get you into that car, and it's like, oh yeah, what's your email? I'll send everything. Oh, have a good day.
Really?
And then at the my job, I just call children Amber Alerts for like an hour and a half, and their parents love it.
How do you, before we wrap up, how do you maneuver all of these things and still work at your craft? And a second part of that question is, you also got something new that you've been working on, 1 year anniversary. Congratulations on your podcast. Tell us about that real quick.
Well, yeah, I think what you're saying is I'm a busy guy. I'm moving. But yeah, I just we just hit a year on our podcast, Platinum Banner. It is with my best friend in the world, Daniel. He is my quote unquote life partner. We room together. We do trips together. We have this podcast together. It has been so much fun, and I just love meeting new people and having new conversations. And I get to do it with my best friend.
What's the podcast about?
So then we like to highlight, we have a segment called Lit, Local Indie Talent. So then I know a lot of comedians and not a lot of other people that have come in our sphere, but we've had comedians that we like to highlight. We've had dancers. We've had we just had a health guy on, a health fitness guy. We do like anybody on the show that's in indie that's creating something out of nothing.
What do you think about the podcast industry now? You've been in
It's hard, man. It's hard. Well, it's so saturated. But what I've noticed is your vibe attracts your tribe. If somebody likes your vibe and likes your energy, they'll keep listening and everything, and everybody else they won't. But then whoever you capture, that's it. But it is the hardest thing. So then shout out to how fantastic this is. This is fantastic. I have like a small room in my house that we cram in, and so
what's the hardest part about being a podcast developer? You've been in the business now for a year. You're also in the entertainment field. You're in the rude customer service industry. But what's the hardest part about being successful for a year? Because I know doing a podcast, this is our second year. I know it's hard. What was hard about developing your show?
Man, I think for Platinum Banner, it was kind of like the motivation of comparison. So then I got into podcasting because I'm a podcast fan. I got into comedy because I'm a comedy fan. And the biggest thing I think I've learned in this year is comparison is the thief of joy. So then if you are comparing yourself to the Joe Rogan podcast or Armchair Expert with Dak Shepard or you know all these other like really powerhouse, then you're probably not going to want to post.
Right.
And I think it is just about like getting it out and just like keep the content coming, and then your vibe will attract your tribe along the way. But it is hard not to say like, hey, I want this instant success now. Right. I want the followers now. I deserve it. I'm being vulnerable on a podcast. When am I going to get my reward kind of thing? But yeah, the universe is always listening.
Before we wrap up, you're doing something downtown. How can the viewers come to see your show that you're doing downtown in Indianapolis?
Oh yeah, so Dick's After Dark. It is so it's at Dick's Last Resort, the place I told you about. So this is the first time I am running my own show, and I am giddy about it. Right. I've got 4 of my favorite people in the world: Terry Shepard, Chelsea Snedden, Jose Munoz, and Duncan Kissinger. They're some of my favorite comics in the city. But we're just going to have a little Black Friday show. So then 10 o'clock at Dick's Last Resort. It is free. So go blow all your cash on Black Fridays downtown at the mall. You can go watch the lighting. But then if you want a free comedy show, come down to Dick's Last Resort. It is going to be a blast.
How can the viewers reach out to you?
I am
from your podcast and everything.
Yeah, so if you want to follow the podcast, we're the Platinum Banner podcast on Spotify and Apple Music. But then if you want to follow me, I am Stratton Smith on Facebook, and give me a follow on Instagram. I am at WeirdStrat.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been no other than Mr. Stratton himself, entertainer Mr. Stratton Smith, on the Andre The Beast Crayton show.